Quilter's newsletter, Machine Quilting Tips and Techniques, is brought to you by Bernina, Made to Create, and Benartex, Fabric for Quilters by Quilters.
Hi, this is Connie Fanders, and this is Quilter's newsletter, Machine Quilting Tips and Techniques with Bernina. And in the previous episode, I shared with you how to make tucks for your quilted home decor projects. Well, today I am going to take these tucks one step further and show you how you can make twisted tucks on your projects. To do a twisted tuck, we are first going to start with fabric that was tucked just like in the previous episode. So we have sewn the 5 tucks and we have pressed them. But before we begin, I want to show you the foot and the seam guide that we will be using. We are going to be using the Bernina number 34 clear applique foot. The clear foot gives me a visual of exactly where I am sewing, which is perfect for tucks. And then I'm going to use the seam guide with the measuring guide on the top. And I'm going to insert it into the back of the foot as such, and then I can adjust it to however deep I want my twisted tucks to be. And I can tell because there are measurements marked on the front of my guide. So first I put the foot on the machine, then I take my seam gauge and insert it, and I want the stitching on my twisted tucks to be 3 1/4 inches apart. So my 3 1/4 inch marking is right even with the needle. And then I'm going to tighten the screw in the back of the foot to secure it. So my first row of stitching I have sewn with the tucks going down. I'm going to line up the edge of my seam guide on my previous row of stitching, and well, on this next row, each of my tucks I'm going to fold up. So again, aligning my guide along my last row of stitching, I'm going to start sewing. Notice I did not take any back stitches when I began to sew, because we will pull those threads to the back when we're complete and tie a knot. You want to make sure as you're folding your tucks up that you don't get another tuck in there. So at this point you may need to raise your foot, place the tuck underneath, and lower the foot, and then continue to sew. And one more tuck to go through. And I'm going to stop sewing when I get to my stitching. I'm going to raise my foot and pull my threads to the side. And again, I'm going to pull the threads to the back side, and then I would tie a knot to secure. After that is secured on both ends, I go back to my sewing machine, and then this row, all of my tucks are folded in the downward direction. And again, I do not want to do any back stitching, and I want to make sure I have a long thread tail to begin. And you just sew down the row of tucks. You can see it's easier to sew down the tucks than it is up the tucks. Raise the foot. Again, we would tie a knot and then complete the next row of tucks. So now we have completed all of our rows of stitching, and I have pulled my threads to the back and knotted them. And so now our pillow top is complete. So you're ready to Go ahead and stitch the remainder of the pillow together, and your quilted home decor pillow is complete. Join us next time as we give you another variation of tucks, and we talk about pin tucks and how you can use pin tucks in your quilted projects.
Quilter's newsletter, Machine Quilting Tips and Techniques, is brought to you by Bernina, Made to Create, and Benartex, Fabric for Quilters by Quilters.